by thy rivers gently flowing, Illinois, Illinois, o'er thy prairies verdant growing, Illinois, Illinois, comes an echo on the breeze, rustling through the leafy trees, and its mellow tones are these.
To Illinois in 1830, from a crude Kentucky log cabin, came a raw-boned, lanky youngster who was destined to change the course of history. Illinois is known to millions as the land of Lincoln, for it was the land he knew as home, the land he roamed and loved for 30 years. The growing river town of New Salem was the scene of 6 years of his life. Here, Lincoln became a mature man. The reconstructed settlement stands as an Illinois state park 22 miles northwest of Springfield. In New Salem, he became a store clerk, a storyteller, captain in the Illinois militia in the war to drive the Indian Black Hawk from Illinois, town postmaster, surveyor, representative in the state legislature, and an antagonist of slavery. As a member of the Long Nine, a group of six-footers in the legislature, Lincoln was instrumental in moving of the state capital from Vandalia to Springfield. Soon afterward, he moved to Springfield to practice law. He became a circuit rider on the newly organized 8th Circuit. Over crude paths and dirt roads, he traveled from the Mount Pulaski Courthouse to Metamora, to Vandalia, to Beardstown, refreshing his mind on points of law as he rode. In Springfield, Lincoln met and wed Mary Todd. Here they bought the only house that Lincoln ever owned, a 2-story structure at 8th and Jackson Streets, where 3 of their 4 sons were born. It was from Springfield that he was elected to the 30th Congress. He presided over the Sangamon County Circuit Court. He delivered his famous House Divided Against Itself speech in the House of Representatives. It was at the home of Francis E. Bryant at Bement, 25 miles east of Decatur, that the 7 famous Lincoln-Douglas debates were arranged. Though Lincoln's second campaign for senator was unsuccessful, his debates with Stephen A. Douglas in 7 Illinois towns firmly implanted the name Lincoln on the minds of an entire nation. We here resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain. Immortal words of the Gettysburg Address ring down through the ages. Abraham Lincoln, who freed the slaves and preserved the Union, was the 16th president of these United States. The first man his newly organized Republican Party had sent to the White House. Following his tragic assassination, the Great Emancipator was laid to rest in Springfield. As long as his name and his memory live, the name of Illinois will live with him and be remembered as the land of Lincoln. Other names have left their imprint upon Illinois also, names in which lie the stories of the first people who lived here, historical names, even names of the terrain itself. Chicago, Pontiac, Watseka, and Neoga. Algonquin, Kaskaskia, Tuscola, and Chenoa were Indian. La Salle, Joliet, Marquette, Bourbonnais, Prairie du Rocher were French. Washington, Lincoln, Marshall, and DeKalb are among the names of great Americans. And from the land itself, the names of Burnt Prairie, Pleasant Plains, Sweetwater, Coal City, and Mound. Today, the cities and towns of Illinois are surrounded by fabulous land. Land made rich by glaciers thousands of years ago, which here dumped parent earth from Canada and Minnesota, and left a soil so fertile and so productive that Illinois is one of the great agricultural spots in the world. 90% of the state is tillable, the highest in the nation. Land value per acre is the highest in the Midwest. Vast areas of level terrain are conducive to mechanized farming. Illinois ranks first in growing soybeans and produces 1/3 of the nation's output. It ranks second in the production of corn and hogs, third in oats. Other important grain crops are wheat, barley, rye, and cowpeas. General farming is prevalent throughout the state. It was the rich promise of the fertile soil which drew Abraham Lincoln's farmer father to the state. The fruition of that promise is found in bountiful Illinois harvests each fall. Soybeans, corn, and hogs take first place in the central part of the state, but are found generously spread in other sections as well. Southern Illinois has specialized in the growing of fruits and vegetables, but these are also found in great abundance in other areas of the state. These beautiful red delicious apples, along with peaches, cherries, grapes, berries, and pears, represent a flourishing part of Illinois' agricultural economy. Great dairy and beef herds are centered in the northern counties of the state. Rich pasture lands, green with grass and sparkling with small streams, make possible the abundance of high-grade milk, cream, and tender beef. Cattle shipped from the sparse open ranges of the west fatten in Illinois feedlots to provide prime and choice cuts of beef for America's tables. Golden grains of corn from Illinois farms fed to cattle and hogs result in the production of more and better beef and pork. After a good substantial meal, a fellow just has to sit down and relax. At mealtime, it's every little pig for himself. Next to farm products, minerals are the most valuable of Illinois' primary resources. Fluorspar deposits in southern Illinois are the largest known in the world. This mineral is vital to the nation. It is a flux used in the making of steel, an electrolyte in the extraction of aluminum, an ingredient of the commercially important hydrofluoric acid, and large quantities are needed to produce enamel and opal glass. Also from the treasure house beneath the fertile soil, more than 60 million barrels of oil pour forth annually. Oil to power automobiles, heat homes, drive machinery. Two-thirds of the state of Illinois is underlaid with bituminous coal. The state ranks third in the nation's output and has the greatest coal reserve of any state in the Union. Some of the largest mines in the world are found here. Extensive strip mining operations take place in the northern part of the state, where strata of coal are shallower and lie close to the surface. Illinois coal powers industry. It takes huge amounts to generate electric power for a city as large as Chicago. Here in one pile is enough to serve the city for more than 3 months, over 400,000 tons. Illinois coal heats and lights homes and apartments. It makes possible the operation of countless refrigerators, air conditioners, stoves, toasters, percolators, and other appliances. Brilliantly lighted city streets, flashing theater marquees, gay amusement centers, myriads of glowing, sparkling electric signs. All these are possible because of the fabulous underground treasure house, which is Illinois. There is no electricity in Mrs. O'Leary's barn the night her cow kicked over a lantern and started the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. On the ashes of Holocaust, Chicago courageously built a new and finer city, second largest in the nation, fifth largest in the world, nestling on the southwestern shore of mighty Lake Michigan, blue gem of the Great Lakes.
Chicago, Chicago, that toddling town. Toddling town, Chicago, Chicago. I'll show you around. I love it. Bet your bottom dollar you lose the blues in Chicago, Chicago, where nobody cares and nobody wears a frown. On State Street, that train street, I just want to say it today. They do things they don't do on Broadway. The time of their life. They get along and there is no strife in Chicago, Chicago, my hometown, my hometown.
This is Chicago, giant of the Midwest, center of trade manufacture, transportation, education, and culture. Brookfield Zoo is one of the world's great zoological gardens. Chicago also boasts of Lincoln Park Zoo. Both are open the year around and attract capacity crowds. Halloween is an exciting time for youngsters in Illinois. Given the alternative of trick or treat, the householder usually chooses to give a treat. Chances are, however, that neither householder nor trick or treater is aware of the fact that Illinois is responsible for more than 25% of the nation's output of sweets. Illinois' 139 candy factories make it the sweetest state in the 48. The next most serious contender produces less than half as much candy as Illinois. The sinews of a strong America are made of steel. In Illinois are steel plants contributing to this basic need. Many industries are dependent upon steel. Illinois leads in production of farm machinery and railroad cars. In total manufacturing, the state is third in the nation, first in the Midwest. From its 13,000 factories and plants come every known type of commercial product. Automobiles are assembled here, for example. Elsewhere in the state, everything from pencils to power shovels is produced. Another first for Illinois is meat packing. Millions of pounds are processed each year. Here is the focal point for shipment, slaughter, and processing of livestock from the whole Midwest and western areas of the country. From these stockyards, the nation receives beef, veal, pork, lamb, meat products, and meat byproducts of every description. Illinois markets are as colorful as they are practical and efficient. Here is where farmers bring their produce: butter, eggs, poultry, green goods. Here, too, the retail dealer buys food shipped from the rest of the nation and even from other areas of the world. The health of her citizens is important to the state of Illinois. Within her boundaries are to be found some of the most famous medical centers in the world. From her hospitals and medical schools come more than 12% of the nation's doctors. The spiritual well-being of her people also is important. Thousands of churches representing every religion, every faith, every creed, and every denomination find a welcome place in the great heart of a great state. In Wilmette is a structure which represents the spiritual needs of all mankind. The 9 sides of this building commemorate 9 sayings of the founder, which symbolize the 9 spiritual necessities. Transportation is the lifeblood of civilization. Illinois is one of the great leaders in transportation development. Here at Midway Airport, passengers embark and disembark. Freight is loaded and unloaded. Flights are scheduled to all parts of the nation and to every corner of the globe. Here, planes take off and land on an average of 1 every 2 minutes. World-famous traffic arteries and motor expressways are here. They represent the most forward progress in thought and planning for highway development. They are the envy of the world. Illinois cities are linked closely together by a network of highways which extend to all sections of the country. Over these highways travel private automobiles, buses, and trucks from every state in the Union. The total length of Illinois roads is sufficient to extend 5 times around the world, with enough left over to tie a large knot. As the crossroads of the nation, Illinois becomes the focal point for all types of transportation. Major bus lines converge on the state, spend fabulous amounts of money for terminals and facilities. Railroads do the same. Radiating in every direction are lines that reach across the continent, to the west coast, the east coast, the Gulf of Mexico, and to the Canadian border. The world's largest freight handling yards are located here. The inland empire of Illinois is also served by the nation's great waterways. Ship canals, natural rivers, and the Great Lakes give the state access to all the seaports of the world. Lake freighters, river barges, and ocean-going vessels annually carry millions of tons of raw materials and finished products to and from the ports of Illinois. Chicago alone handles 64 million tons each year. Some of the nation's most scenic country is to be seen from Illinois waterways. Starved Rock State Park is on the banks of the Illinois River. Here, according to tradition, a band of Illinois Indians besieged by Potawatomis died of thirst and hunger rather than surrender. It is one of scores of the state's parks and historical memorials. Illinois provides well for the recreational needs of its people. In addition, there are thousands of privately operated recreational facilities. There are golf courses, some of the sportiest in the country, boating, horseback riding, spectator sports such as Major League Baseball, hockey, and football. Swimming, fishing, hiking, and just plain ordinary sightseeing are outstanding recreational experiences throughout the entire state. There are many local events which are held annually in the smaller towns. Typical of these is the Apple Festival at Murfreesboro, which draws visitors from all the surrounding areas. Such an affair gives the younger people a chance for recognition, and of course the selection of a queen from among the many beautiful girls is traditional. Fire companies from the surrounding towns stage a man-sized water fight. An occasional misdirected stream of water fails to dampen the enthusiasm of the spectators. Huge dams are found along the rivers to provide locks for navigation and to furnish hydroelectric power for homes and industry. The Illinois and the mighty Mississippi are two of the rivers where the largest of these dams are located. Diversified industries and prosperous cities and towns give employment to thousands of skilled and unskilled workers. One of these, Peoria, is the state's second largest city. It lies in the heart of the Illinois River Valley. Rockford, situated on the Rock River, is the third largest city and a commercial center for the northern part of the state. It is the second largest machine tool center in the world. Fourth city is East St. Louis, located on the banks of the Mississippi across from St. Louis, Missouri. The stately Capitol building is the focal point of the fifth city, Springfield. In buildings comprising the state capitol group are the offices of elected and appointed officials charged with the welfare of the state's people. Many efficient programs developed by the Illinois government have been adopted by other states. The soybean capital of the world is Decatur, important not only as an agricultural center, but as a producer of manufactured goods. North of Chicago, on the shore of beautiful Lake Michigan, is the quiet residential suburb of Evanston. Oak Park, western Chicago suburb, is called the world's largest village. Galena, home of General U.S. Grant, is in the heart of the dairy country. Throughout the state, educational facilities are top-ranked. From grade school on through junior high and high school, Illinois youngsters are given the advantage of superior teaching methods, intramural sports, and modern educational plans. There are scores of privately owned trade schools, colleges, and universities. Illinois is a land of opportunity, a land where each man has an equal chance to pursue the occupation and goal in life he desires. A man may go to any of 5 state colleges or the University of Illinois with little financial output. It is not difficult or unusual for a student to earn his way to a college or university degree. Champaign-Urbana, the University of Illinois football stadium, is the scene of some of the nation's most thrilling gridiron epics. Here, the Galloping Goat, the immortal Red Grange, made football history. For decades, his record stood until the season of 1953, when a U of I sophomore, J.C. Caroline, shattered his mark. Fleet-footed backs, solidly blocking linesmen, these have made University of Illinois teams top-ranking among the nation's best across the years. Now in its second century of pageantry, color, and competition in livestock and farm products, the Illinois State Fair at Springfield draws people from every corner of the state, as well as thousands of out-of-state visitors. The fair is one of the 3 largest in the country and presents the world's largest agricultural exposition. A show window of farm, factory, and education, the Illinois State Fair also offers clean, healthy, satisfying recreation and good fun, as well as relaxation. The state's chief executive, Governor William G. Stratton, strikes the keynote and welcomes State Fair visitors. Here the industrial and agricultural wealth of the state is on display in August of each year. 4-H youngsters and future farmers of America look forward all year to state fair time. Carefully they groom, feed, and train animals for competitive events. There are more than 6,000 competitive classes with premiums offered totaling over $600,000. And proud is the boy or girl whose entry captures a blue ribbon, for only the best in the state are entered. It's a great moment for both junior and adult prize winners when they parade their award-winning entries before the grandstand to receive the plaudits of the crowd. A fairyland of color, a cacophony of gay sound, a world of multi-hued lights. This is the Midway of the Illinois State Fair. And it's at its gayest and best after nightfall. Here, the visitor, in the midst of gaiety, may stop to reflect. It's good to be alive. It's good to live in Illinois.
By thy rivers gently flowing, Illinois, Illinois, o'er thy prairies verdant growing,